Yes, 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 yes. And we are live tonight, friends, with Christi Spice. And tonight we are talking Drag is Not a Crime. We'll be talking about HB 1428, especially with our good friend Angelique, our good Judy. She's back from Tallahassee. I'm so good to see you. Hello, everyone. Hello. If this is your first time watching, this is Common Courtesy TV, a Bay Area podcast on LGBTQ plus culture and society. I am Sean Nicholas, actor, former drag performer, and sobriety advocate. And today's topic, like I said, we're talking HB 1423, the Protected Children Act, the anti-drag laws that are being written not only in Florida, but kind of in the country. So I want to introduce first my co-host before I introduce my awesome guest because Christy is someone I've known for a very long time and I've been trying to get her here and I'm so glad you're here. But first up, I want to introduce my original co-host, my really good friend, entrepreneur Nikki Prue.
Yay!
Hi guys, how's it going?
Hey Nikki, how are you? And hey Tampa Bay Gay, hey Dave, how are you? And Nikki, how are you this evening?
I am great. I'm so happy to be back. I'm happy Angelique's finally back. We have an awesome guest.
Yay!
I'm ready.
And next up, I want to introduce, like she just said, our good friend. This is someone that I have watched grow tremendously in the last couple of years. Please welcome back to the panel, nightclub performer, entertainer, show director, activist, entrepreneur, Angelique Young.
The list goes on and on and on. I'm constantly taking on new things. It's so good to be back. I'm so happy to be with all of you. And this is there couldn't be a better time to be back, honestly. This is the perfect time to be a part of something as moving as Common Courtesy. I've always loved this show, and I'm so happy to be here today, specifically because of the topics we're talking about.
Absolutely. And you have a little bit to talk about that because you were just in Tallahassee lobbying against these bills. I'm going to ask you a question about that uh, after I introduce the main event. Please welcome to our panel local drag artist and star and a good friend of mine. Please welcome Christi Spice.
Hi there, you
Yay!
guys. It's such a
Welcome.
pleasure to finally be on Common Courtesy. I was there when you were first starting it off, so this is like a very big full circle moment, and I love it.
Oh,
Oh my God, that's right. I was
We were
back
in
when I
your
was.
so
we were in your
awesome.
house and just discussing in the back room, like, oh, I want to do this.
Oh my God, alcohol takes so
That's
much from
so
me.
awesome.
I barely remember that, but I do. I do. Now that you bring it up, I do remember talking about it here and also at IBM Rooster when that was open. But let's get
Hmm.
into our topic today. We're talking about we're discussing some of the anti-drag laws that are coming in not only in Florida but in our country. And like I said earlier, Angelique was in Tallahassee lobbying against these bills. Angelique, can you kind of tell us what that was like for you, and can you tell us what happened a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when all of these kind of bills started to get announced, and we kind of heard about this ban on drag, this Protect the Children Act that's kind of been incited, it had very vague wording. We didn't really understand what it meant or how it would go down. Um, I was able to partner with a group called Equality Florida, and they partnered with some other individuals who had concerns to kind of educate us on the bill and break it down in words. And we went to a meeting in Kissimmee and we learned about it. And after that meeting, I realized just how intense this was going to be, and learning just how wild this could affect. So I came back to my community in Tampa and led a charge of education. And I told people I want to go to Tallahassee. I need to see, you know, in the real time what's going on, exactly how this is affecting people. And that inspired people to want to be a part of that too. So we formed a group called Drag to Tally. They threw a fundraiser for it after the educational thing that I did on that Monday. That Thursday, we had a fundraiser. We raised over $4,600 to send myself and Brianna Summers to Tallahassee. Me and Brianna looked at each other and was like, we can't be the only voices that you hear. So we took an additional 7 individuals up to Tallahassee with us who have different backgrounds, but we were all united in drag. Drag was the thing that brought us all together, even though we come from different backgrounds, different genders, different identities, things like that. So we went there and we were really truly expecting to fight the fight for our drag community. And when we got there, we realized that 24 bills against LGBTQIA plus community members in different parts in different ways were being presented over the next 60 days. And we really were like, we are out of our depth. We came here for one fight, but we need to fight for all fights. So the days that I were there were specific bills that were going up, which was the opposition of gender affirming care. And it was also the expansion on what we call the Don't Say Gay bill, but it's actually the expansion on the parental rights and education bill is what it's called. So we sat in these lobbying. So lobbying is basically we got to sit with representatives from the different districts and the different counties. And we told them about our concerns and we heard about what their feelings were on them. And some of those experiences were great. We met some awesome people like Representative Gant and Representative, she's wonderful. She's in the 114th district, I believe. I don't want to butcher her name, but she was also
Anna Eskamani.
No, I missed her, but she did speak publicly. I was in her office actually relaxing, but it was cool. But I didn't actually get to meet with her about lobbying. But there's some other really great Democrats out there who are fighting for our rights and really, I think her name is Skid Row or Skid Roll or something like that. I'm not Skidmore. It might be. I think it's
we'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week because we're going to be asking you more about what happened in Tallahassee because there's a lot more bills that you were lobbying against and not just, Don't Say Gay or gender affirming care, but there's also some things that are really educational that we got to talk about. But first let's get back to our guest, Christi. Christi, welcome. So I wanted to ask you, just in case if no one ever met you before. I wanted to ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, Christi, and how did you get your start in drag?
Hi, so I am a native Floridian. I was gonna say Florida person, Florida man. Native Floridian. I was I was born here in Tampa. I've lived here for the 25 years. I got my start in drag basically right at the end year of high school. One of my best friends asked me, "Hey, I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race and I want to practice doing drag makeup. Do you mind if you come over to my house and let me practice on you?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" We ended up doing my face. Yeah, sure, why not? We ended up doing my face and then going to Hamburger Mary's, and I ended up meeting the queens there and loving every second of it. And I was a theater kid, and basically the rest is history. And drag has honestly propelled me in the most way that nothing else that a degree and anything else could do. Like I now work in the music festival business, and I would never be in the position that I am today without drag. I literally got my start in the music festivals doing drag. I got to do so many things because of it, like fashion shows and stuff like that. And then drag has literally been the number one start for me. So, and it holds the biggest place in my heart for it.
I love to hear that because I have to agree with you because for me, doing drag, it kind of helped me get over my stage fright. I've been acting for years, but literally when you get into front of a new crowd, you're just scared. So drag has done wonderful things for our community. So I'm going to kick this next question off to Nikki. Nikki, do you have any questions for Christi?
Well, I knew you were going to ask. I was going to ask you when the first moment was that you knew you wanted to at least try drag, but Sean kind of got that answer out of you anyway. So that's okay because I did. I guess right before you got started, right before that moment where you were like, "This is it. I'm doing this. I'm going as far as I can with it." Did you have something before that you were like, "You know what? I think maybe I want to do blah blah blah." You know what I mean? Maybe not even a career, but something you thought you might have gone towards and instead found this amazing path that obviously suits you more than anything else would. But I was just curious if there was if it would have been a big change from one thing into a career boosted from drag.
Really, the only other thing that I thought that I was going to do before drag is I was in university for global business degree as well as a minor in economics. I ended up graduating with those things,
Wow.
but I never really had a place in the corporate world. I was like working at HSN and stuff like that. And I was just like, this is not for me. And I was like doing drag at the side, like over at Iberian Rooster with
That's awesome.
Sean. It's just me and Sean and a whole bunch of other weirdos underground in the basement, just having a grand old time. But that's like
Sounds like
that's the path I would have been
in that
going down
building,
as
though.
something very corporate had not drag saved my life. I will say this saved my life because I would not done really good at all in
Yeah.
the business world. And well, at least the corporate
You and
business
me
world,
both.
the business world, the festivals, festival business world is
That's
absolutely amazing. It runs just like drag kind of almost.
Nikki, you got another one for him?
what was that last thing? I got a little broken up towards the end there. What was the last,
Oh,
like just the end of your thought? I
oh,
just
the
didn't
end of
want to
my
miss what you
thought
said because
was
it broke on my end.
yeah, of course. I was just saying how the festival world business is really run a little bit more so how like drag is run, like the back end of drag and like talking to producers and getting to know everybody and less of like here's my resume, please hire me. It's more
Yeah.
politicking, like getting to actually be personable with people, like them seeing your skill sets in person rather than you saying, "Oh, I've done this," and you can lie on everything on your resume.
Yep.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
I'm gonna go to Angelique. Angelique, do you have a question for Christy? I know y'all know each
Yes,
other well.
I have like a million and one though. Even though like this is one of my long term friends, and I've loved this person my entire time knowing them, but I still think there's so many things I always want to know about you, and I think that this was the perfect setup for my question because the aspect of getting into festivals and being a drag queen, you are one of the kind of I want to say innovators for this industry as an entertainer who is leading the way for other entertainers to join the festival world. I don't know anybody else who's joined it in the way you did. You don't just perform, you actually help produce these massive festivals, right? So,
Mhm.
how did that even come about? How did you get into this? How did you fall in this rabbit hole?
Um, so my first ever festival, I had never gone to a festival until 3 years ago. And it was Oki 2020. And I ended up getting asked to do drag because one of my sisters, Serena Bell, um, they had asked me, hey, Get Lost Creations, or not Get Lost, but Lost Creations is having a drag show. They need a few more performers. We can't pay you, but you get free camping, you get a free ticket to the festival, and you get free food all weekend. And I had literally just broken up with my boyfriend at the time. And so I was like, you know what? I need to do something for me. This, I don't care if it's not paying. This is going to be an experience. I'm going there for an experience. Um, Going in, I ended up meeting a bunch of the people that was like putting on like side production, like little art installations next to us and making friends. And then later on, uh, through like once towards the tail end of COVID, they started when festivals started popping up again and we had the two-part testing. They had asked me and my friend Mio if we wanted to come back and do like go-go dancing for them and just because they remembered us and they loved us. And so I was like, yeah, sure. And after doing that, they asked us back again and they asked us back again to do a different job and that stuff. And I just as I was doing this stuff, I was like asking them, I was like, hey, is there anything else I can help out with? I would love to do this. I would love to like keep going on with it. And the my boss was like, yeah, sure, you can do this. And look at me now. I'm now 3 years in, and this year I'm taking over all the catering management contracts for Insomniac the rest of the year. So like EDC Las Vegas, Hard Summer, Nocturnal Wonderland, but
You
all the
better
big
make that
a lot
money.
of big contracts. It took 3 years. It took
For
3 years.
you. That's
But yeah,
amazing.
that's how I fell into the rabbit hole. Just a lucky kid that was being happy and met the right people and was at the right place at the right time.
I
Absolutely.
do. Oh, no, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say I definitely don't believe in luck. I think you were meant for this. I think that this is something that was meant for you, and everything lined up the way it was supposed to. I couldn't imagine a better person to have this experience in their life. You needed it and you were at that time. It sounds like it literally was the perfect job just for you. There was no one else who could do it better. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so
So,
much.
Christy, before we move on, I have just one last question. So, where can we see you perform in the Bay Area? And is there a favorite artist or song that you love doing?
So I'm not booked anywhere like on cast, but I'll sometimes pop out to Southern Nights on a Wednesday night for the So You Think You Can Drag competition, or you can find me at Fresh Start sometimes at Cocktails on a Wednesday night, hosted by Adriana Sparkle and Aquarius. Um, and
That's my
then if I'm
girl.
literally the people who raised me alongside Angelique. um, or sometimes you can catch me whenever I'm in town for a Friday. I'll be with Gia Banks over at Southern Nights Tampa for the RuPaul's Drag Race viewing party. I'll be working the sound and lights and then also performing. But those are really the places you can catch me when I'm here. If you also want to see, follow my Instagram, Christi Spice. I'll post about other things that I'm actually doing if I'm booked for anything in town. Sometimes I'm booked in New York as well. So it's just a matter of catch me if you can.
I mean,
And
not for nothing.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you at Show Bar. Just saying.
I would love to come. I love coming.
Yeah,
I would say I remember I came twice and it was like an amazing time both times. If you haven't seen Angelique,
I have a
every
reputation.
Sunday every Sunday there is an amazing drag show that has cocktails and some really good food. I had barbecue one day and it was absolutely amazing. You should go there and
Thank you for the
check
plug,
it
sis.
out. And once that ends, you just go over to the next show and just keep the Sunday fun day going.
all right, all right. And
Okay.
Tampa Bay Gay said, bravo to you, Christy Spice, for all
Thank
your
you.
accomplishments. So we're gonna take a small break,
Thank
and
you
that's a
so
great.
much.
Thank you for being here. But like, we're gonna take a small little break because we're gonna watch a little thing from Tampa Bay Gay to tell us what's going on in the Bay Area this week. Be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Dave with Tampa Bay Gay. We're outside the Greenlight Cinema in St. Pete where the A-List film series starts this Sunday. Be sure to check that out and this week's LGBTQ plus events. March 22nd is the last day to enter to win free cover for you and a friend to the Pride Dance Party at the Ritz Ybor on March 25th. 5 winners will be drawn. Visit our contest page for details. Happy Tampa Pride Week, and on Thursday is the VIP sponsor party at Busch Gardens. Ticket includes early entry and parking. Then at 6:30, the party begins with live entertainment, amazing food, and drinks. Then this Saturday is Tampa Pride, and we have a complete list of the day's events, maps, and supporting events. Be sure to check out our Pride event page. On Sunday, the 26th, the Tampa International Gay and Lesbian Film Festival's A-List Film Series presents At the End of the Day, playing at the Greenlight Cinema at 3 p.m. Get your tickets now.
Am I at the right place?
Depends, are you gay? Your shirt says you are. Come on.
Gordon, it's a gay group.
All right, that would have been nice to know.
Job Site's Misery runs through April 9th. Opening weekend is sold out. Additional shows have been added. Listen up, local LGBTQ plus and ally business owners. Your safe place is important to us. And now it's your chance to list for free in our directory. Thank you for watching. We'll see everybody this weekend at Tampa Pride. Visit TampaBayGay.com for local events, the latest digital content, and more. Also, please like, share, and subscribe.
You know what? I love those little commercials. Because Dave's starting to put like little clippets from movies. I saw y'all laughing in the back.
I thought it was funny. He was like, your shirt says you're gay. And I was like, oh.
I love David. We appreciate you. We appreciate him. All right, guys. So let's get to talking about some hard topics, what we're really known for. So let's discuss protect the children law. I want to ask you guys, since this law basically says, it would make restaurants, hotels, and other venues, if they knowingly admit a minor, they will be punished. If they knowingly admit a minor to an adult live performance, the establishment can be fined, the liquor license can be suspended or revoked. Some criminal charges as well can happen for the establishment and some of the people that work there. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys, with all this being said and everything, I wanted to ask you guys, for whom do you think this bill is for? Is it for the children? Is it for a political agenda? Does it actually do what it says it does? Because when you look at an adult live performance and what that is any any show, exhibition, or other representation in front of a live audience where or in part depicts or simulates nudity, sexual conduct, sexual activity, excitement, anything that would like statute that. And also you have to kind of be naked like go-go girl. So when I hear that, I don't really think drag. So I want to go to Angelique, so who do you think this bill is actually for, and is it for the children?
This bill has been presented as a way to protect the children, but it is a clear attack on drag specific shows. The whole purpose of this bill, and the reason why it's been introduced in two parts, is it's a way to attack drag shows without actually making them the victim, because that would be a hate crime. So what they're doing is they're attacking the businesses and they're attacking the parents in two parts. So the first part attacks the business and threatens to take away their liquor license, which is their main stream of income. It also technically attacks food vendors as well, because it would stop them from having business completely. So even if you don't have a food vendor, if you were to have an event there, it would affect your business as well. The other side of that is that it criminalizes it for parents as negligence and abuse. So because you're putting them in a dangerous situation where they can see themes that are not good for them. So in part, something that is also overlooked in the bill that I need to address is that it doesn't just look for the business itself. It also caters to a little bit of other things that like the wording is very, very vague. The wording doesn't specify anything. So they've categorized us as live adult entertainment because we have suggested themes, suggested music, and we do things, or we wear clothing and outfits, and we do acts that are suggestive by nature. So this doesn't just attack drag queens, this attacks burlesque entertainers. This is for any entertainer or anything like you could even think of like aerial artists, anyone who does anything that has an outfit that's basically a bathing suit would be considered a live adult entertainment because it has a suggestive theme. So even like scenes of Magic Mike, anything like that. And their whole goal when they were asked up front about this and how this affects people, they were literally asked, who are you targeting with this? They literally said, and there's tons of clips of them actually saying that this is specifically for drag queens. This is they don't think drag queens are family-friendly events, and no child should ever be at one.
Okay. And then let me go to Christy. Christy, who do you think this bill is for? Is it for the children, or is it for the governor? Is it for his presidential campaign that he's saying he's not saying he's doing?
God, I please hope not. He doesn't. I please hope he does not. But I think Angelique made a really clear and solid point that this bill is basically not even for the children. It's literally the older white generation that has been around for God knows, that's been raised by the people that were a part of the racism, like literally what's it? The racist crowds, not even like 50 years ago, like the high school that I went to was segregated. Gays were looked down, like they hated blacks, they hated anybody who wasn't white. And my neighbor that I used to grow up right next to me, she's like, oh yeah, I remember when my high school was segregated. And she went to Clearwater High, and she was only like 60, 70 years old. And her kids are the same age as the governor right now. And so I'm just thinking like, wow, this is literally all the use of them. I can't even say this right, but it's literally their generation. It's raised by them, and they still have all this hatred. They haven't learned anything. They're still trying to just keep and perpetuate every little thing that their grandparents taught them. Like, oh, no, this is wrong. You need to follow Christ. Da 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 da. I'm gonna keep going on, but in short, no, it is not for the children. It is basically just them trying to exercise their religious freedom.
Okay. So, Nikki, I'm gonna go to you because Angelique said, this is specifically for gays. Chrissy just basically said it's for the racist people, and
for like the racist people, like,
and the religious right. Nikki, who do you think this bill is for?
I think between the two of them, they've 100% covered exactly who I think it's for and what it's about. I think, Sean, you and I talked about that the other day, how this was their, I don't know if scapegoat's the right word, but this was their catalyst, maybe. Like it, they used this to snowball right into like nuclear option of no more drag and all these. I find it to be based on just intolerance and anger and them getting steamed up because there's an election coming up and everybody wants to make the wrong people happy. And that's kind
It's
of
a
where I'm at.
political ploy. It's a political ploy.
Politicals, 100%.
Now, what you were mentioning, what we talked about last week that it didn't air, we were talking about a photo that happened, a TikTok video that went viral at our house in Miami. Here's what we saw. Basically, this performer walking around with a little girl. She was wearing pasties and a thong. I'll be honest, seeing that, I think that was, they said there was a misunderstanding, and I have to agree. I don't think that that's the type of shows that we see at family-friendly events. You know what I mean? I think the mother walked that little girl in there, and she's on stage. What are you going to do? So I think that was a misunderstanding. But what they didn't do was come out and say that that was highly inappropriate. For me, you're not wearing clothes, because I worked in a strip club, and that's what the girls wear, and I wouldn't want to see my niece and nephew there. So, like, going back to like for whom this bill is for, it gets confusing to me because, like, just like Angelique said, the wording in the bill is not specific. It doesn't say anything like how Tennessee definitely classifies adult cabaret performers as male or female impersonators. And I don't really see that, because you can do any type of work, like let's say Mulan. Mulan is a G-rated cartoon movie, and she's dressing in drag the entire time. I think this bill is definitely for the president. I mean, sorry, the governor. Shit, I don't want to speak it out.
Sean, that's like twice. That's twice now.
It's only once because the last one didn't go out.
I'm putting a gag order in place.
But just get the next question. But I think it's definitely for the governor to like run his own campaign to be the president. Let me ask you the next question that I have on this. So like, we already kind of talked about what it's really about, but how do you think this actually affects the community? I'm going to start with Christi first. Christi, how do you think this actually impacts the community?
How this actually is impacting the community? Well, for one, the big obvious reason for us as a gay community, trans community, lesbian community is impacting us negatively. For one, like we're about to have some of our livelihoods like taken out from us. Like, how are we going to be doing Pride out in the streets? How are we going to be like, look at Palace Bar in Miami. Like that's Miami's like number one. I think it was just like rated Miami's number one like profit generator for like tourists, for tourism. Like a lot of people go down, like a lot of people in the United States go down to Miami specifically to go see Palace Bar. They're like, oh my God, these queens, Fantasia Royale, Juicy Love, that Queen Flips, who's on TikTok. A lot of people go down there to see those shows. And with this bill coming into effect, there's a lot of revenue that people will be losing out on. And there's a lot of businesses that would be closing. Yes, but I think like a lot of revenue would be losing, and it's not going to be in our community. Like we're going to lose shit tons of businesses, pardon my French, but we're going to be losing a lot of money within our community itself, and like we're not going to be able to fund a lot of things, and it makes me scared because a lot of different like events that we do, like brunches and stuff like that, they go towards like AIDS research, like the Broadway Care stuff, and for me at least, that's like a big part of my life that like makes me like, that's a lot of stuff that I've worked with, and like it just scares me a little bit to see like what would happen like if this does go to affect a lot of charities and stuff that we're like worked so hard to do.
Absolutely, and it's not if it will go into effect. Not to cut you off, I just want to I just want to go to Angelique. Angelique, how do you think it'll affect the community, especially with what she just said?
Well, considering the bill just passed its first step today, meaning that it was highly favorable, it was outranked today, it's going to affect the community in a lot of ways. And I think that something I missed saying that I wanted to speak on is that this specific bill attacks daytime family-friendly events. Any event that's ticketed like a story time or a drag brunch per se on a weekend or any day of the week really is what they're targeting with this particular bill. So they're stopping families from supporting the community, from supporting each other, from introducing their children to lifestyles that may be conducive to the upbringing of the child. There's gay parents, there are lesbian parents, there are, trans parents. So this prevents them from having that unified moment. And what it does is it puts fear in the hearts of the community locally, and it puts fear in the hearts of businesses, because businesses have to choose between the profit they want to make, that they make from this particular event, and supporting their entertainers, and their liquor license, which is their main food bill. It really does put a gun to the head and says, what are you really about? Are you willing to risk everything to have a show, or are you willing to get rid of the show and fall in line with us? At the end of the day, this entire initiative is the Republican Party making Florida a political playground. It's making it a welcome zone for hatred and for misinformed information being spread to help boost that ideology that this is the place for all red people to come. It just is what it is at this point in time. They have no intention of having these bills actually help anybody other than their political party achieve an agenda that they see fit for themselves.
Absolutely. And let me go to Nikki. You're absolutely right, Angelique. Nikki, how do you think this bill impacts the community negatively or positively?
I don't think it has any positive impact. It's under a guise of being something positive, being something protecting the name. Just the name of the bill infuriates me, because it's like, I can't, I'm too mad to even think of a good comparison right now, but like something to like reel you in. It has nothing to do with protecting children. That was just the spark that lit the fuse. And that's what they're
propaganda.
100%. And it just, and that's what it just, don't use that. That's what's grossest about, I mean, one of the grossest things about it to me is using like the guile of we're protecting but it's about the children. No, it's not, because the children are fine. Like, nobody's hurting the children. So this bill is a load of bullshit and BS. And I don't think it's helping anybody. I think it's negatively affecting the entire community. I mean, performers and fans of performers alike. Just as Christi was saying, it's ruining traditions for people. It's ruining careers for people. It's ruining the chance for people to donate to causes through a really fun, like a fun event. It has no positive impact, none that I can see whatsoever.
Okay, so let's move right along. So the next question I want to ask everyone, because I absolutely agree with you. I don't think that it does a lot for the straight community too, because it's like they've been doing a lot of drag shows to bring in people, and now you can't have a drag brunch, which I've been to plenty of times where it is family friendly, and those are boring for me sometimes. But I want to hear the nasty, but I'm an adult and I can choose that. But like I said, I wouldn't bring my niece and nephew to that, and I don't think that that's what they think we are. I think what the impact it does, it kind of makes us look like assholes. It makes us look like pedophiles, because if you read the bill, it says adult live entertainment. For me, like I said,
bill, the wording is grotesque, and the wording is grotesque.
The wording
is
grotesque, like you just said. It's propaganda, but also as well, like Tennessee, they didn't specify a male impersonator or a female impersonator as a adult live entertainer. So, which kind of draws me to the next question, because I got into like a little debate with my brother over this, because we were talking about if dressing in drag is an adult entertainment. I'm like, well, what about Mulan, bitch? Like, that was G-rated, the cartoon. He didn't know I was ready. So let me ask you guys. So like, why do you think people? He wasn't. Why do you think people support this bill? Are they all bad? Do some people actually have a good reason to support this bill, or do they don't have a good reason to support this bill? I'm gonna go to Angelique first.
Those who support this bill are uneducated. They have never been to an actual drag show. They don't understand. They don't understand what it is that we do. The bill itself specifically speaks to, just so that we're clear, because I don't want anybody thinking that we're giving them misinformation, but the bill targets ticketed events that allow children to attend. So if somebody has a ticketed event, then they are up on the block for elimination, so to speak, okay? So they don't even understand what that means. They don't even understand why we choose to make events that are ticketed. You know, this also comes back to something we've talked about on the show about businesses not paying us what we deserve for bringing in the entertainment. They charge these ticketed prices so that they can pay us, so that they don't lose any money in the investment that we bring to the table. So this is what they think is this is what they think we all do. They have classified us in something. They don't even realize that we do free shows, that we do open shows, that we do public shows. They don't even know. So really, truly, this is the people who support this just don't really understand what's going on. They have no idea how it's targeting us and what it's doing. And so this is just attacking our daytimes. By putting us in that category of being adult live entertainers, they force us to have shows at night. And the next step to that is singling us out. So what Florida is doing, they're not stupid. They know that our industry makes them money. They know that they can still profit from us. And to lose us entirely would cause a huge shakedown across the entire state. So there's so many businesses that make them money yearly, like the Palace in Miami and South Beach, Miami, that they have to have something that regulates that. They're really basically just saying, go in the closet and do your work and close doors so that we can have you guys and make us money, but we don't have to see you. They basically don't want to feel force fed our lifestyle and our success. So they're putting all these bills out to push us in closets, basically.
And let me go to Christy, let me go to you next. We sisters, we know each other.
Oh, not the government, not the government name. But no, I think Angelique is making exactly the point that I wanted to say as well. Like, the people who are supporting this bill are uneducated, and a lot of it, I feel like, with the name of the bill, Protect the Children, it's kind of a red herring almost, basically. If you don't know what a red herring is, in like law and kind of like law talk, basically it's a distraction to say, oh, this is what it's for, but it's actually doing for this kind of thing, which is
Look over
what
there.
the name look over there. But that is exactly what this bill is. With people not being educated themselves, like Angelique said, they've never been to a drag show, they've never seen a drag show, they don't really know what's going on, or the people that haven't even really read into the bill itself. It is a real, like, look over there moment. Like, oh, look over there. That's what it says. Protect the children. Yeah, we got to protect the children. Protect the children. Of course, we're going to protect the children. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't you want to protect the children? And they don't look into it further. It's more of a thing of people have to look into this further rather than just reading what's on the outside. They actually have to open up the chocolate and, like, oh, look, there's caramel inside.
Look for that Willy Wonka ticket, ho. You got to look for the golden ticket.
It's almost,
they're not going to find it.
It's almost like the same thing in the movie The Help when they were talking about the toilet seats and things like that. Like, oh, your children can get, you know what I mean? Diseases and things like that. It's exactly like that. Let's go to Nikki. Nikki, why do you think others support this bill?
Again, I'm not, I promise I'm not copying you guys, but to ride on the coattails of two really, really good answers. Red herring, yes. Fear mongering, yes. I mean, they're just shouting scary things. Child Protection Act or bill. It's like people, their minds don't go anywhere near drag or anywhere near anything like that. They think, I don't know what it is down here, but child protective. So they're like, what is it?
CPS.
And then thank you. Yes. So it's yelling scary things to make some people make a scary connection. And then as soon as they just skim the bill and then they see what it is and they see only what their eyes want them to see. And they, in their minds, just every drag performer within 100-mile radius is just converging on their kids and forcing them to watch shows. And it's so insane that I hate that they're using such an extreme example too. Like the video, that clip, Sean, that we watched that you played a still of, that's such an extreme example. I haven't had a ton of, experience seeing drag and watching drag shows, but since I've moved down here and I've met Sean and I went to Pride the first year I was down here with him and I used to hang out at Enigma a ton, like I've had an amazing experience getting to know like just different performers and seeing like are ridiculously talented. Like I just can flips that Angelique. I would not. Oh my god! Like you're all amazing.
Angelique, she's talking about you.
So
you're in. I mean, Sean. But like the two of you, yeah, I would literally break my neck. But my point
Wait till you
is,
see
like,
Christy.
I can't wait. Now I'm excited. See, it's been so long since I'm just, now that I don't work downtown anymore, I'm like, what's happening in the world? However, I just think it's ridiculous. Like the fact that they use that example is infuriating. And it should be infuriating to anybody who isn't a moron. Like the people supporting this bill are 100% uneducated, but they're also the same people willing to jump on every fear train that somebody sets out of the station, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Especially if these people, whoever they are,
Uh-huh.
they're a fun group, but just if our governor says something or our ex-president says something, they're like, it's like God's word, and it's ridiculous and it's sad and it's infuriating. I don't know, but that's what
Blind leading the
that's
blind.
I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna play like a
It
little
reminds
like
me of
real.
something.
I'm gonna. Am I still here? I'm
Yes,
gonna go
you
a
are.
little
Yeah,
real.
you're still here.
I think most of the fact that, like I said, the conversation I had with my brother, he literally told me that drag is an adult theme. He said, and then one guy in this one clip that Angelique was on the news with, he said any adult
was my whole
performing
point.
for children is adult entertainment. I'm like, no, the fuck it's not. Like, you go to like Renaissance Festival, there's a man on stage, fighting someone. It's so
Plays,
this bill
concerts.
is meant to be convoluted because if you're uneducated, you're not really understanding what you're reading. Because the only time have I ever seen a drag performer like naked on stage is late at night, and the only time I've ever seen like a kid friendly, like I don't think that was a kid friendly thing that happened at our house because it was dark as fuck outside. I feel like that mother came, it was a setup. She came in like, oh, can you walk my child around? And everyone is there think it's innocent, but these people who support this, they are basically feeding to their own what we said, ignorance, and I it kind of leads into my next question. Do you guys think that, here's the question, where do you think we can find a middle ground on anti-drag laws? Like I said, my brother thought that just dressing in another gender, it confuses you. And I'm like, well, it didn't confuse anybody in Mulan. It didn't confuse anybody when they did it.
If you're confused by that, then you're going to be confused in general. Like, come on.
So Nikki, where do you hold on, Nikki? Yeah, right. But Kinky Boots is a Broadway show, and
It was a movie first.
children.
It was a movie first, and it was out in 2005. So no, hate to break it to y'all. It's been
but
out
what's the rating?
It was on Logo, and it was on everything it's G. It's rated PG-13. It's not insane. It's nothing crazy. It really truly isn't. And anybody who wants to fight that, you can pull up the IMDb, baby. I will.
No, you're fine.
So many movies.
Yeah. So not to argue about that. Not to argue about that. But let me ask you, Nikki, where can we find some middle ground?
I think that what worries me is that the people who are causing this, who are putting, yaying this bill and signing their names and storming the gates, like, I don't think they want to find a middle ground. I think that and I can't obviously speak for the drag community, but I am sure there's a million levels of middle ground that you would be able to come to some, kind of compromise, and different shows at different times of day and whatever. But the drag community in this case is not the problem. The people in charge, quote unquote, the government, the officials, are the ones who are the problem, because they would rather just go from 0 to 160 and not have to nitpick and find a way. They just want to get rid of things that they don't understand. And again, election year, I feel like it's too political for them to want to, but do I think it's possible? Absolutely. If there was somebody who was able to stand up and actually speak, for the drag community, other than, somebody who had some major influence and could be some kind of a liaison. Yes, I think that there's 100% a chance for middle ground, but only if both sides cooperate. And I don't see one of the sides cooperating.
I agree with you. I wanted to read this from Set. Set says straight men put on button up drag and go to the jobs they hate to pay for lives they can't afford every day, and no one bats an eye. These are miserable people coming for our joy. And let me go to Chrissy. Chrissy, do you agree with that?
With Nikki or with Set?
What Set just said, and where can we find some middle ground?
Honestly, I do agree with Set. Yes, you make an incredible point. RuPaul said it best. I hate being that cliche of her saying it, but you're all born naked and the rest is drag. That hit way back when the Club Kids
Amen.
era, and it's hitting now. But honestly, to see, we could find a middle ground. We could. Should we find a middle ground?
What do
No,
you
because
think?
I feel
What do you
like
think if we could find a middle ground? What would that be?
if we could find a middle ground, that would be basically them not targeting so much of saying, "Oh, you can't be doing daytime drag at all" and stuff like that. And like, I just know there is no middle ground. Honestly, there is no middle ground. If us giving a middle ground as LGBTQ plus, we're giving up ourselves. We are giving up everything we fought for in the past, everything that we're still fighting for right now. If we give up, we're giving them the better upper hand still to this day. We need to take it back. We need to there is no middle ground. They can have a middle ground with themselves, whatever they think about and discuss, but we need to have everything. We should not be compromising ourselves, our bodies, our fucking shows, our everything. Like, this is who we are. We shouldn't have to compromise who we are to fit you.
Absolutely.
So I don't think there's a middle ground. There is no middle ground. I can't. I can't. I can't.
Let me go to Angelique. Angelique, where do you think we can find some middle ground, or is there a middle ground?
There is no middle ground when people are not willing to compromise and people are not willing to adjust and see things from both sides and learn and educate themselves. I could come with 1,000,001 different things. I could tell you about ballet and ballerinas who wear tights and the men who wear dance
Hello.
vests. I could tell you about football players who wear equipment to be smart about what they're doing. But the reality is that drag is an art form. And at the end of the day, every art form deserves its full potential to be unlocked and unleashed in every aspect. And I will leave you with this quote that I've personally come to tell to everybody in these situations. No one goes into an art museum and looks at the Mona Lisa and looks at an Andy Warhol and looks at a Jackson Pollock and says that they're not worth the same amount of money. You don't have to like each one. You don't have to like where they are, but each one is worth and its value is substantial in that space. In these places that we're in, we are substantial. We are valuable to the businesses. We're valuable to the community. We're valuable to each other. And they don't understand that value. So they put us down and they strike us down and they make bills like this. But should they just come to the understanding that we are just being us and we're just representing our art and our form, they would realize that it doesn't really matter what they think. Minimalizing this is not going to make it go away. They're never going to get rid of it. It's going to be the next prohibition, baby. There's going to be underground everything, and those parties are going to thrive and those businesses are going to thrive. You can't get rid of it. So you can either join us or ignore us. Those are your options. We haven't bothered anybody for centuries. Drag has been on for centuries, baby, and it's going to continue on for centuries. So no, there isn't a middle ground, even though, yes, I could give you devil's advocate. I could tell you we could force people to wear tights and force them to wear head ties and force them to dress accordingly during the day. And then at night, you can wear whatever you want. But the reality is that I will not be silenced, nor will any other drag queen be silenced, nor will any other entertainer, nor will any other artist. That is the freedom of which we are given as Americans.
Wait, but if you said,
wait,
you just said this is, I just heard you okay. If you listen to what you just said, you said that like I can tell someone to wear tights, whatever, whatnot, make sure they're fully covered up. I think that is the middle ground because for me, I think that especially in Florida, like I didn't see this. At first, it was a trans thing, but I didn't see this really kick up about doing drag until Our House came out, and then that TikTok video from Our House came out and then no one really said, "Hey, this was kind of wrong." You know what I mean?
The
like
gloves came off.
because wait, hold on, because I can say like a lot of things are art, right? But then when we're talking about, let's say I see drag as like Beyonce or Britney Spears performing on stage, but they don't do that in pasties. And I think that the problem with that happened.
I mean,
It's happened. It's happened. But my thing is that the
Well,
reason why
I
it's
mean,
effective-
I'm just, I mean, I don't mean, I'm just saying, like on like usually television, I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? I
at the
haven't.
award ceremony with
I
one pasty on. That's like the most notable thing in
I've
history, and it's something that they
I've
allowed MTV at the time,
I.
national television and
But weren't
news
they wearing
everywhere.
like body
They
stacking?
she
Like
had a one pasty on, her whole titty was out, and she
that
had the
was
other two.
Janet.
How about Little Kim, or I mean that's
okay.
Little Kim, Nicki Minaj, all these
What
other people.
about
But besides that, my point is specifically to Florida and what Florida's
But
dealing
it's
with, and
different. But it looks different when like it's not like
why?
you're
Because they're a
just on
celebrity.
stage. Because like I said, like no, because like if it's one pasty, no, because you said like if it's one pasty out. I worked in a strip club. When I saw her, she looked like she was a stripper.
No,
Like
but
there's
that's not
because
fair.
you just
That's
said
an. But see, that's
and
a negative. That's a
but no, I'm just saying
station.
I'm not trying to be negative,
Right. No,
but
no, no. I'm not taking it as negative.
that's my opinion. Like I really think if we're going to talk about art and expression, I'm like, are we going to say that that's just purely art and expression, or there's a time and a place for that? You know what I mean? Like I
My
think that
analogy
like
though, she's a trans woman, and she's not a man dressed as a woman. She is a woman,
she's a
and she is
woman,
allowed to
but
do that. And you can't be mad at
no
her when there are
in a
women across the
restaurant
street
though.
at a beach. Women across the street in South Beach, Florida. This is normal attire for anybody who's at the beach all
But
day long.
maybe you're at the beach, but when you go into a business, and when you go into a business, I believe the rules change. Because, like I
no, not on
said,
because
South
no, it
Beach.
doesn't. It
On
doesn't
South
because
Beach, no.
you
because
as long as you got as long as
well,
you got something covering your nipples
so-
and you covering your vagina and you're covering your asshole, it does not matter where you were. Actually, in Florida, as a matter of fact, there was a law that went into place that said that men can wear underwear. They cannot do jock jobs in public. You have to wear a G-string.
absolutely.
For women, it's the same thing. As long as there's a piece of string covering your body parts, you can wear whatever you want. It's literally that. So the reason why this is an argument and why I'm mad
Well,
about
I
it,
mean,
why
but
I say,
but it says it's adult live entertainment. Like to me,
the
that
reason why it's a fuck all is
because like I said, a piece of string, yes, but like if as long as you have a piece of string, but you also are in a public place that you wouldn't see that. You're going to see that in a club. You're not going to go to
it's in a closed environment. That she wasn't walking on the street. She was inside the restaurant. A restaurant inside, all the way deep in the restaurant. She was not outside on the street on the public. That person brought their kid into the establishment. That establishment has closed doors. Doesn't even matter if it has windows.
But for
That was
me,
exactly.
yeah, it's a closed establishment, but at the same time, if a kid
Say
was
that
there,
because it's not public.
I will. It isn't public, but at the same time, for me, if I was walking around in a G-string and a little kid was in there, I'm like, nah, sis, you got to go, because then it's not
No,
because
because
look at
literally
the
she's not missing
reaction.
it outside. She's not missing it outside, but you're missing the major point of this bill and why it's offensive is simply because they are saying that women dress as strippers or men dressed as strippers. When they said men dressed as strippers, they're talking about transgender, non-binary individuals who are coming out dressed like this. They're not just attacking the passable women. They're talking about anybody who puts on a bathing suit for their comfort. We have businesses like Tuck It Up who support us and our transitions and our journeys and our non-binary feelings, and they make this beautiful underwear for us to go out to the beach and get great tan lines like everybody else. We should not be forced to wear booty shorts or anything else.
But when you're talking about the beach and then on stage, that's like, I get it. Because like I said, but like I said, is other places, and you're right, it wasn't public. But at the same time, when I saw that myself, I'm like, I couldn't have my niece and nephew walking around like that. That isn't okay. And I thought it was highly inappropriate. And the fact that no one
there's so many different places that do this all day and have their kids there. There are literally kids at every freaking parade we have. We have 3 parades in Tampa for Gasparilla alone with people on floats with their tits out, throwing beads, flashing their tits for beads. And it's an open public event. It has nothing to do with gay people. It's for straight people. First and foremost, it's for people who are hopped up on a pirate idea. You cannot sit here and justify that means and not punish everybody. If it was for everybody,
I think that's the one thing I agree. Everyone's got to be everyone's got to be punished, because like I said, for me, trans woman, and I know she's a trans woman, but she looked like a stripper from where I used to work, and even the girls there couldn't walk around because there's certain laws in Florida, in this county. What I know is you can't be completely naked in the same room where there's alcohol in Pinellas County. Like where I work, you can't be in the same room. So there has to be a different room.
That's out of you and me.
Well, no,
That's all.
well, but I'm
That's
just
all I'm
saying.
gonna say to
But
that.
but like I'm saying,
Respectfully, assume it makes an ass out of you and me. So that's
what?
how you
No,
spell
but
it.
like I
That's the
think it.
definition. That's how it
But
works.
I agree with you. It should be for everyone. It shouldn't attack like just one person. But I kind of like, for me, like when I saw that, like I wouldn't have my kid at Gasparilla if I saw some titties. I would walk her out.
Your
You
choice.
know,
It's your right as a parent to do what you feel is necessary for you, and that's actually constitutional
That's
I
my
law.
agree. Yeah, I
The
agree with
constitutional law 14, subparagraph, I think it's 5C, says that the parent has the right to educate their child on anything they deem fit. It doesn't matter, sexual education, whatever they want to do, they can do that. So that is their
That was
right
my
to
big
walk in
thing.
there with their parent. So
So
it's a constitutional right to do it. So
if
you
that's
don't
a
get to
consti- if
be
that's a
mad,
consti- hold on,
motherfucker.
if
Be
that's it,
mad. You
is
don't
if
do
that's a
it.
constitutional right, why aren't we arguing that? If that any child to
But they
like
don't
just
care. That's the difference.
because
When you're
well if you well
outvoted,
no
it
no
doesn't matter.
if you're arguing it, then if it's unconstitutional, it doesn't matter if you're outvoted or not. Because I know what's happening. The federal because if it's unconstitutional, you can't pass law. You have to make amendments how it's written.
It's not
I
a
know
law,
what's
it's a
happening.
bill. It's not a law, it's a bill. And the reason why they're getting away with it is because even if it is unconstitutional, it has to go to the Supreme Court. So what happens to
That's
those
what I was saying.
businesses
That's
and
what I
those
was
things?
saying.
It's a
go to the
direct
Supreme
attack
Court.
to shut people up, like I said before. It's either
Yeah.
assimilate and do what we say or leave or die. Those are the options you're left with on the floor. They're giving you options, but they're not making them options you want to take. So that's what this is all about at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It really truly is forcing people into a pigeonhole to make decisions that they don't want to make and to have to make them on the fly, because the bill getting passed is just the first step. Even if it's denied later,
Well, the bill's passed, it becomes
people
law.
are going to go to jail.
The bill passed, it becomes law. The one thing that I think we got to end the show because we ran out of time. The one thing that I thought was interesting when I looked up what is considered live entertainment, I saw belly dancing is live entertainment. It is not. It's not adult, even though I see someone. Well, no, I just
give a definition.
Right. And I thought that was funny because I'm like, I see a belly dancer dancing and I immediately think it's sexual. And I asked my
what
brother.
They deem fit.
Right. So I really honestly think that like we need to specify what drag is and put it in the same specification as belly dancing, because it is, if they're going to say belly dancing is educational and things like that, and then half of the other room is going to say it's not, I just found that was very interesting. But yeah, I love this conversation. Right. It needs to be. But I love this conversation. We learned a lot today. Thank you so much for being here, Christi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for coming. I also want to give a shout out to everyone who stayed with us and watched and everyone who commented. Let's read this last one before we go. Ivan. Ivan.
Honestly,
yes.
I was waiting for someone to say this.
Literally, Hooters was made.
I was too early.
Homegrown
totally
in Florida,
like.
Yeah, but like even Hooters got like, I'm not gonna get into the argument. I'm not gonna get into it.
You just
I know
there's gonna be a whole can of worms.
We'll go another hour.
Hooters is different though. I'll say it. Hooters, I mean it, but I find that funny. I find it funny.
Wing House.
We'll talk about it. We'll
Wing
talk
House
about
and
that
Hooters.
later.
Ooh.
I will talk about it later because I thought anyone who's walking, talking, wearing like nothing, it's whatever. Anyways, I wanted to thank everyone who watched. I want to thank our sponsors, Bulge Apparel and Gifts in Ybor. I also want to thank Tampa Bay Gay, Dave Borman. Thank you so much as well. We miss you too, Ivan. Thank you so much for being here, Christi. And like I always like to say to my friends and everyone else, until next time, try to have a little bit more common courtesy. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Great show, everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Bye.